Are you making yourself smaller just to fit into relationships that no longer serve you? We don't always notice right away. Sometimes it's just biting your tongue when you want to speak up, or other times it feels like exhaustion after spending time with someone who drains you. Let me ask you something. Where are you shrinking yourself just to stay comfortable, quote unquote? Because today we're done with that. Let's talk about how to stop shrinking in relationships and start expanding into your full self. Welcome back. I'm Emmanuel George III, but around here you could just call me Dr. EG3. And as you know, this space is for real conversations, ones that push you towards becoming more of who you really are. We talk clarity, courage, confidence, and how just to live seen, loved, and powerful in today's world. In today's conversation, it's personal. It's about relationships and how some of us, some relationships require us to shrink, dim our light, or soften our edges just to keep the peace. But you weren't made to shrink, you were made to grow. Let me tell you about someone that I worked with one time, someone that I watched grow in an extremely big way. When we first started working together, they were stuck in this pattern of playing small, especially in their relationships and social circles. They were incredibly smart, creative, and had this quiet, just leadership and confidence about themselves. But every time they found themselves around certain people, they'd shrink back. They'd silence their ideas, downplay their success, and just second guess their instincts. And I asked them once, why do you think and believe you hold back like that? And I can tell you, I'll never forget their response. They said, because I'm afraid to show up fully, because I don't want to make other people uncomfortable. That right there, that was a belief that was keeping them stuck. So as we were working together, we worked on building confidence to be fully seen, to speak without apologizing, to take up space without guilt. And over time, I saw a shift happen. They stopped over explaining their boundaries. They stopped dimming their light in conversations. They started walking into rooms and letting people experience the real version of them, not this edited gray version that they were before. And you know what happened? Some relationships did shift. Not everyone celebrated their growth, but new connections showed up. People who saw them supported them and made room for their expansion. And you know, the biggest win? They told me, I finally feel like I'm living as myself, not a version of me that I loathe, but the real me. Now, I want to give you three signs that you may be shrinking, but then also what to do instead. So, number one, you edit yourself down just to avoid conflict. You say yes when you don't want to, you nod when you don't want to challenge. It just feels easier in the moment, but over time, it builds resentment. So instead, practice truth with kindness. Try saying, that's not really for me. Or I see it differently. Can I share with you? Small truth telling leads to big freedoms. Number two, you feel drained instead of energized after being with some certain people in certain circles. I want you to notice how you feel after you leave the presence of certain people. Do you feel full, engaged, or do you feel fatigued and drained? Your body knows the truth even when your mind is still negotiating what the truth is. Instead, what I want you to do is set emotional boundaries. It's okay to create space without guilt. Your energy is sacred and must be protected, and you have to know where it gets drained and where it gets fulfilled. Number three, you sacrifice growth for comfort. You stop talking about your dreams. You downplay your wins because you don't want to make people uncomfortable. You stay in relationships that feel more like a cage than a collaboration. So instead, I want you to choose aligned expansion. Find spaces, find people who clap when you grow, find them who positively challenge you, and find those who make room for you in the next level. And you know what? I want to give you guys a bonus. So, in shrinking versus sacrificing, you may want to know what's the difference, right? Am I shrinking or am I sacrificing? Well, sometimes we confuse the two. We confuse shrinking with being selfless, but they're not the same. Shrinking says, let me hide so others can feel comfortable. Whereas sacrifice says, let me offer something from a full place because I'm choosing to. One comes from the space of fear, the other one comes from the space of love. Healthy relationships involve this give and take. But if you're the only one giving, the only one compromising, the only one staying silent, then that's not love. That's just imbalance. You're not selfish for choosing yourself. I'm asking you to be honest with yourself. So I, let's go with me here. I want to take a moment for you to visualize. I want you to imagine a life without shrinking. So look, I know this. Look, if you're driving, if you're doing something, please do this if you're safe. And if you're a safe place, what I want you to do first is take a deep breath. Again, if you're in a safe place, close your eyes. And I want you to imagine yourself walking into a room with bringing forth all of you, your full voice, your full energy, your full joy. You're standing tall, chin up, chest out, shoulders back. You speak with clarity. You laugh without holding back. You stand tall. You feel safe. Now, you can open your eyes now. And I want you to know that this is possible. This is real. This is what's waiting for you when you stop shrinking. So, yeah, the challenge. Ask yourself, what relationships, either in the past or the present, that you have been shrinking for? Be honest. Then I want you to choose two paths. Number one, you can have an honest conversation this week with that individual or individuals and to set boundaries, to speak the truth, or ask for everything that you need. Or if that conversation isn't possible for whatever reason, I want you to make a quiet internal decision. And I would even argue, write it on a piece of paper so you can look at it. I want you to write this decision down or think about this decision, write it on your heart. I will no longer shrink in this space. You owe yourself at least that much. Now, if today's message hit home, if there's someone that you want to share it with because they find you have watched them and observed them shrink themselves just to belong, if this resonated with you, click the button, click the link, subscribe so that you can catch out next week's message as well. Because, see, you were not made to shrink, you were made to shine. And as I wrap, just remember, guys, as always, I love you much.